What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Toxic Fandom Podcast. My name is Mav. I'm here with my friend. Where are you?
That's Matt.
Maddie.
That's me.
What's up, Maddie? How you doing, bud?
Nothing. Excited to get this going. We've been talking about this for a little while. Let's have some fun.
Yes, sir. So just to give everybody a little bit of a background, Matt and I used to do a podcast way back when called the X Squadron Podcast. We did it with a couple of other guys, and it was pretty much what this is going to be. But it's a little bit more downsized. Like we used to have like 6 or 7 people, and we used to talk about
Yeah.
all different types of movies and TV shows, and life happened, right? Just like it happens to everybody. And, people kind of go their separate ways. People get jobs, people have kids, and people move from one place to another, and things happen. And we really wanted to get back to this. And we want to put a show together for you guys that you'll like. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up, or even just a little background. Like I'm a little bit of a geek nerd type of person, but I would consider myself like a normie, right? I think that's a word used nowadays to kind of describe someone who like I know about geek and nerdy stuff, but I'm not like really deep into it. You know what I'm
You don't
saying?
dress. You don't dress up.
I, at like Comic-Con or like at home,
Yeah, you don't dress.
because well, you never know. It depends on the night, I guess. But yeah, I'm not cosplaying, right? Like I'm watching Transformers. I'm watching Lord of the Rings. Those are some of my 2 favorite things in the world, but like I don't know like deep lore of Lord of the Rings. Like I didn't read the books until after I saw the movies, right? I think a real geek, a real nerd would have read those books prior to going into the movies, like even before the movies were a thing, like before they were even a thought.
They got
So
those side books and stuff too. They're all into that. That
yeah, the
that's not me.
Silmarillion and there's other ones. Like I didn't even know that there were other ones until I kind of had to research that stuff. But same thing with comics. Like I love like growing up, I loved Batman, I love Spider-Man, Superman, all that kind of stuff. But like I don't know every comic book story and its details. I have other friends that do that. Our good friend Joe knows all about comic books and could tell you all different types of things. But what I can tell you is that I love a good entertaining movie. I got to tell you that. I also hate a lot of things. I, I've grown I've grown to be a bitter middle-aged guy, and I kind of hate most things, which is hence the title of this, or the name of this podcast slash video cast, whatever you call these things, whatever the kids call these things these days. Toxic fandom. They would definitely consider me a toxic fan. Like the world would. I don't consider myself a toxic fan. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. But I think
And
the
I've
world
had
would.
I've had the pleasure. I've known
Yes.
you for like 8 years now. It's been a real pleasure watching you go from a cockeyed optimist to just a bitter, resentful fan of some of these multi-million-dollar IPs. It's been great.
I hate everything, Matt. Like it's not just movies and TV. Like I hate everything. I hate cars. I I hate commercials.
Yeah.
Like I hate food. I hate everything. I wish everything was like I was born in the 80s. I was born in 1982. And I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid, right? I was too young to remember the 80s. But like I bought an old truck. Like I have a 1978 Ford F100, and like I play guitar, and all I do now is buy old guitars because I don't want the new ones, because F the new ones. Like I just don't want I hate everything new. Everything stinks now. I hate everything. And I'm sorry about that, but I just do. What can I tell you?
And
So,
you've set the ball up on an absolute tee for me because I am the one that's in charge of selecting the news, the new things,
yes.
literally the
Yeah.
news. And you
Right.
hate the news, the things that are new.
Well, I might love some things in the news. Sometimes the news can reference old stuff, you know? Let me
That's
let me let
that's
me
true.
let me show you something I got, Matt, that I love. I love Legos, right? And I also
Yes.
love G1 Transformers.
Yeah,
It's
that's awesome.
Bumblebee. How cool is that? It transforms into a freaking car, dude. It's a Lego. And I have the Optimus Prime one. That one's already upstairs,
You haven't
which is
built it?
pretty. Yeah, it's already built. This one I just got. My friend Joe, one of my best friends, is coming down to visit me the Labor Day weekend. So he's gonna put that together with one of my kids. He doesn't know yet, but he's gonna put that together with one of my kids. What's on today's docket is we want to give you a little bit of insight into our likes and our passions about movies and entertainment. We also want to talk about, like Matt said, the news, and we want to discuss the new, well, maybe not so new now. We got into this a little late. So we had to buy microphones, we had to get, stream yard subscriptions and all this kind of stuff. But we're going to do the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Okay, so it's the newest Disney blockbuster. Finally, they made some money, this company. Hate Disney too. I used to love Disney. I was like, we'll get into that later. Oh my
There's
God,
so much
do I hate it.
Disney. There's so much Disney in the news. It's not even
Oh yeah.
funny.
Oh, I'm sure you got
So much Disney.
I'm sure you got the lawsuit in there too, which I can't wait to talk about. But we're going to tell you a little bit about the movies we like, and then we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. But first, Maddie, give me some news that I'm going to hate.
I was going to lead off with the new Snow White movie. I thought that would be a good way to set the tone. So I think this is an interesting one. So did you see did you see the new trailer? Did you see this thing?
I did.
Do you know what it was supposed to be?
As far as the dwarfs themselves, are you talking about the dwarves themselves? So the 7 people that they found in Union Square Park, like the very eclectic, diverse group of weird-looking individuals, dressed like they went to the Salvation Army.
So maybe this is good news for you because they abandoned that horrendous. I saw that picture. I was like, oh, this is fake. This isn't real. Mm-hmm. And then when this trailer came out, I didn't know that they had ditched it. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see what this disaster looks like. But maybe they're learning a little bit and they're going to stop doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Or not.
I doubt they're going to learn anything about anything. Here's my thing. So this started, and make sure you check the private chat. This movie was announced many years ago. Not many years ago, but many months ago, right? When was this movie first released? Like the idea of this movie first released?
It's definitely pre-COVID.
Yeah, definitely pre-COVID. So there was a big uproar as soon as this movie was said to come out, released to come out, and the dwarves was one of them, right? Where they weren't going to have dwarves. The girl Rachel Zegler has gotten herself into all types of trouble with opening her mouth, right? Which leads me to hate. I hate new actors and actresses because they're not. I don't think they're actors and actresses anymore. I think they're activists, right? And
yes,
and it's not even about the role anymore. It's about pushing the message, right? If you want to quote the Critical Drinker, I don't know if you watch the Critical Drinker out there, but
I know him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you're not talking to me directly.
No, I was talking to the crowd. I was talking to everybody, but I like talking to you too, so we're good. So her opening her mouth and just saying things like, it's not about the prince, it's not about true love, and changing the storyline of it. Over the past 8 months, 9 months that this has been going on, I've really lost interest, and I don't even care anymore, like what they do in this movie. So when I saw the movie and I saw that they did the little digital dwarves, which look terrible, by the way. I don't know if that's the final. Very good. I don't know if that's the final cut of them.
Yeah, and then part of the controversy was that all of these little people actors, I believe that's the correct term. I don't know. I'm trying here. They were like, just put us in the movie.
Right.
And they didn't do that.
And Peter Dinklage was like, no, you will not be in the movie. Which I don't get that. What's his deal? What's his problem?
I don't know. I just know that he did a movie that was really bad after Game of Thrones, and then I haven't seen it.
You want to
It
hear
was like he was.
I know a very horrible thing about Peter Dinklage.
Oh, do tell.
So I can't say who my source is, but a very, very close person to me worked at a sonogram place. Like they took
Oh,
the pictures of the babies in the womb for the parent, for the mom and dad to see, if the organs are all there, if it's a boy or a girl, so on and so forth, right? And she worked at this really high end sonogram place. So she's did sonograms on these celebrities. She met all these celebrities when she was doing this, and one of the couples was Peter Dinklage and his wife. And man, he didn't want dwarf kids. Like I'm not gonna say it, but I think you can all figure out what I'm talking about. Like they were checking to see if it was a dwarf kid, and if it was, get the coat
wow.
hanger.
That's the. That's terrible.
Isn't it?
That's pretty severe self-hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rotten.
That's awful. And there is no reason why I wouldn't believe this person. There's no reason why that person would lie to me about that.
Well, back to Snow White.
Maybe that has something to do with why he doesn't want to be cast as a dwarf. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
That could be. That could be. But it's like a very simple. Maybe it's just too simple of a story. But like they all have a thing. So
Yeah.
great. Yeah, they all have a thing. And then also Gal Gadot is in the movie, so that's great.
I've seen a lot of like memes of like, isn't the Wicked Witch supposed to be jealous of Snow White's beauty? And it's like picture of her and picture of Rachel Zegler. And Rachel Zegler is, listen, she's not an ugly girl by any means.
She's a
right?
she's a beautiful person, yes.
But she's no Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot is like she's like the supermodel of all supermodels.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
and now, yeah, she's unbelievable. I don't know, but isn't it about like the fairness of them all or something? Like she's just nice. Like isn't
so
that what she's jealous of?
I'm sure there's some type of symbolism in there somewhere. Like, when they say fairest, I mean, is it just beauty? Like, because that's what the Wicked Witch is pissed about. The Wicked Witch is pissed about that this girl is prettier than her.
She's prettier and she's also like friends with the animals.
Right, but I think
If you want
the
that, if you're into that sort of thing.
right, furries.
I'm not really. That
Yeah.
wouldn't bother.
She was the first furry, I guess. I don't know.
Don't tell Disney; they'll jump all over that.
Yeah, check under her skirt, see if there's a tail there or something. Anyway, getting off the rails. I'm just drinking coffee. I'm not even drinking my bourbon. But anyway, yeah, it's just like I don't even care anymore because I've given up on Disney so bad. Like for those of you out there who don't know me, which should be pretty much everyone listening to this, the listener that's listening to this, I used to go to Walt Disney World and Walt Disneyland, not Walt, just Disneyland, Disney World. I would go there every year with my wife prior to us having kids. Every year for our wedding anniversary, which was in November, right before Thanksgiving, we would go to Disney World. It had to be 5-6 years in a row. Then we had kids, and then we went for another 5-6 years in a row with our kids. So I was a Disney file. I loved my Christmas tree. Like all we have is Disney ornaments. Like the entire tree is just Disney ornaments. And now, like I canceled my subscription to Disney Plus. I'm not giving them a dime of my money. I haven't, and it all started with Endgame. To really be honest with you, like Endgame pissed me off. Infinity War is my favorite Marvel movie. Like I can watch Infinity War anytime it's on TV. I can sit down, put that on at any moment because it's nonstop action. Everything that those superheroes mean to me are what they are supposed to be in that movie. And then in Endgame, they did Thor so dirty and they did Hulk so bad that it just annoyed the crap out of me. And I the more I watch that movie, the more angry I get about it, and I don't even bother watching it. I stop at Infinity War. So yes, I'm so indifferent to to the Snow White. Like The Little Mermaid didn't really bother me, but heard that movie was terrible. Like I didn't see did you see that movie
They've
at
only
all?
no, because they've only had one good one, which was the first one, The Jungle Book.
I
That
didn't see any. I don't think I've seen any of the live action remakes.
The Jungle Book was good, but then Beauty and the Beast was pretty bad.
Mm.
That was a pretty bad movie.
You
The
know
Little
what?
Mermaid, I heard, is horrible.
I
No,
did see
we've
Beauty and the
talked
Beast.
about Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
Beauty and the
not
Beast. I
good.
think I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. I thought
The
the guy who
one
played
that I thought
Gaston was too small. Like
we needed,
they needed Arnold Schwarzenegger type of guy to play Gaston.
they needed The Rock. Yeah, just the biggest guy. And people, that would have been great.
Yeah,
But and then I saw The Lion King, which was also really bad.
that made like $1 billion, didn't it?
It's one of the most successful movies ever, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
It's a shot for shot, song for song remake of the original movie,
Well,
and with less expressive, because it's just like Nat Geo, but they're talking about eating bugs. It's like the dumbest thing. I was like, why are we here? I literally turned to my friend. I was like, why are we here? Why aren't we doing something cool? Like,
yeah.
it was such a waste of time.
Well,
But they
that's
have
one of
this.
the reasons. Go ahead.
No, go, go, go.
That's one of the reasons why I hate everything new, because there's like no original creative thought anymore in TV and movies. I saw somewhere some meme that was like there are like 40 movies coming out this year or something, like major blockbuster type movies. And like out of the 40 movies, like 36 of them were either prequels or sequels or remakes of movies.
Yes. This is
And
actually a good. After you finish your point, I got a segue though.
yeah, it was just basically just that, people can't think of new, exciting, interesting stories anymore. And they just have to like kind of go find something that already has a built-in audience and then exploit it and change it to a modern day audience and just try to make a cash grab out of it. But
And this is the exception. So did you see any, or have you heard anything? Because I'm not sure if this is in your circles. It's called Megalopolis.
so this well, who's the director of this? He's a big dude.
This
He's a
is
big one.
Francis Ford
Francis Ford
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yes,
Yes.
one of the big guys.
I listened to a podcast today. I listened to this podcast called Nerdrotic, which I absolutely love, and they played the trailer. So I heard the trailer. I didn't see it because I was driving, but I heard the trailer. I don't exactly remember it too much, but it refreshed me and refreshed the audience about what it is.
So this is a movie that this guy, he's like one of the most successful, popular movie directors ever. So he's done, just to recap, Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Apocalypse Now, American Graffiti, Dracula, The Outsiders. He's a very, very big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been trying to make this movie for like 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody would make it because everyone hated the script. And he
Yeah.
pumped like a $500 million into it himself to make it.
Oh,
So, like, if you want an original idea, you just have to be a billionaire. It's no big deal. It's pretty easy.
right.
So, but this movie, the reviews are like very mixed. And the trailer was that they were saying, like, they were pulling up reviews of like The Godfather that were like, it's not good, or like movies like Apocalypse Now, like it's empty. And he's like, will you believe the critics, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It has a ton of big stars in it, but this is what it takes to make an original idea happen. You either have a shoestring $1 million budget, or you're an old legend and you just get to do whatever the hell you want.
Right. And like I heard someone bring up a good point on one of the things I listened to, where it's like the movies we got back in like the 70s and 80s and 90s and way back when, the directors were young and desperate and they weren't getting paid very well. And it was like they lived life and they had experiences and they were also like desperate to come up with something creative and something that's going to, be noticed by other people. Where now it's like you look at the directors and executive producers for Disney shows, and it's like you look at their resume, and they have like 2 writing credits on some CW show that got canceled, and it's like they're in charge of like the Marvels, like a very important big budget blockbuster Marvel movie, and they have zero experience and zero writing, hardly any writing credits. And it's like, how are these people getting these big name jobs and these big name budgets? It just makes no sense. And I firmly believe it's like, these directors are now being cast instead of hired, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
They're being underpaid and bullied basically
Mhm,
to like it's like when it's like if you're like in the mafia and you're like a low level guy and they're like,
mhm.
all right, we need you to kill Big Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
Here's like
Big T.
$1 million, but you're gonna be hated for the rest of your life as you're gonna make this crappy movie.
Yeah.
And they do it. But it's like you can't say no to that kind of money because these guys are still starving. It's
Yeah.
just they have no
Are they?
choice.
You think Leslie Headland is starving? Like,
Not starving.
why does she get to direct a big time Star Wars TV show? Or what has she done? Like at
Star
least with
Wars
J.
is the worst of them all, by the way.
Oh, it's a joke.
It
It's an
is
absolute joke.
unwatchable.
You know what might be worse is Doctor
Unwatchable.
Who. Doctor Who might be worse. I don't know if you're into
I know
Doctor
that's
Who.
in your wheelhouse. That's not in my circle.
Yeah.
Are they really that bad these days?
Oh boy. It is it I don't I don't want to get struck off of YouTube by trying to describe to you what's going on in Doctor Who. Now, again, I don't know a lot about Doctor Who. Okay, I don't know all the lore. I can't name all the doctors. I can tell you, I've watched a bunch of episodes and I really like them and they're really fun. I'm a big Quantum Leap fan, like the original Quantum Leap, not this crap that they put on TV today. And it has an interesting feel to it. Where I mean, it's much more sci-fi. Don't get me wrong. Doctor Who's a lot more sci-fi and things like that. But it has that that episodic feel to it, right? And
Yes.
every episode they're different episodes. Where everything now is kind of like every season is one big story, and it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's almost like they're intentionally ruining things. I have this theory, dude, and this is part of the old man in me.
Mm.
I have this theory that whoever it is that runs the world, because it's not there is a select handful. I think I swear to God, there's a cabal of people of like 5 gazillionaires that run the entire world, and they have a
It's
plan.
Michael Douglas. It's like Michael Douglas, Vince McMahon, Tim
Bob Iger.
Walls, and Bob Iger, and
Bob Iger.
I don't know, and Bob Iger, and uh, Steve Jobs, who's still alive somewhere, probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all those guys.
and Kathleen Kennedy. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy too.
Kath,
Who knows?
oh my God, she's the worst.
But I swear, like the goal of these individuals is to take everything that people loved for certain reasons, like take these really like world. I don't even know how to say it. Like these enormous
Popular.
IPs, like Star Wars,
Popular.
Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who. These are staples of entertainment that have been around for decades, right? And why are they popular? What do they have in them? What are the themes in these movies and shows that they all have common threads, right? They all have heroes. They all have, strong male characters. They have strong female characters too, but they're different. A strong female character in these shows is not the same as a strong male character in these shows, in these stories, right? If you take a look at
Yes.
Lord of the Rings and you look at the strong male characters and there are plenty of strong female characters, right? In Lord of the Rings, you have Galadriel, you have Arwen, you have Arwen.
The
Did I
white.
say both of the
The,
names right?
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all very strong characters, but they're different. They're strong in different ways. The Aragorn is strong in a different way than Galadriel or Arwen is, right? But now it's like girl boss, right? Where all the chicks are just as strong and as good as the dudes in every aspect of it, and they're losing something there, right? They're losing I don't know. It's almost like they're trying to change the female. They want the female character to be more powerful, and what they're doing is they're trying to make them like a dude, and that's not what makes a female character strong.
There is something way cooler about Dorothy Gale sticking up to the Wicked Witch than there is about Captain Marvel sticking up to Thanos.
Right.
And it's just the truth. It's just a better idea of like she's trying to use what she has. It's more interesting. And it's the same with the male characters. Like when Luke fights Darth Vader, he's not as good as this shit as he is. And that's why you like root for them.
Right.
What the characters that are supposed to have all the power are typically the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it works.
And it's the hero's journey for a reason. Like people, like you bring up Luke Skywalker, and I am not a big fan of Mark Hamill, but I love the character of Luke Skywalker. Right? Like you said, he's not good at it. He wants to quit a bunch of times. Right?
He's in
Dagobah with Yoda.
With Yoda,
and
yes.
And he's struggling, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And he fights through that, and eventually becomes, the greatest Jedi to ever live or whatever in the story, until Rey comes and is just handed all the Jedi powers. And did she struggle? Was there any type of struggle for Rey to become a Jedi Master in the little short time that she became a Jedi Master? Like it took a couple of movies for Luke to become Luke. It took 30 minutes for Rey to be awesome.
I was all over this idea that she was going to be like this like bewitched child. Like there was going to be something interesting after the first movie, because everyone was like, "Oh," again, saying the same things we are now. Like, "Oh, like she's a Mary Sue, or she's a she just does all she gets it instantly." I'm like, well, what if there's actually like a reason, and it's like a bad one, or like something? And they kind of actually did it, where they made her Palpatine's kid.
Yeah.
But she dealt with that for like 15 minutes, and then me and my friends went and got pizza after and talked about literally anything else, because that was the most boring movie. Oh, that was the pizza after was better than the movie. Me and the boys, 3 of us, we split a pie, and then all split a meatball roll.
Wow.
Way better than The Rise of Skywalker. I'm telling you, if you're in the next family vacation and someone wants to throw on a movie and they're like, "Oh, let's put on The Rise of Skywalker," you just call your local pizzeria, and I guarantee you have a better time. You can
give me the meatball roll.
Get the meatball roll. Don't watch The Rise of Skywalker. Get the meatball roll.
And to be honest with Star Wars, it's like Star Wars is not my favorite thing by a million miles. Like that's not my wheelhouse. I'm more fantasy. I'm more fantasy, like with Lord of the Rings and magical. Like I love House of the Dragon. I love Game of Thrones. And like if you want to look at how to do a modern day strong female character, watch House of the Dragon, because that's full of strong female characters, written properly, written really well, and believable. Like have you watched House of the Dragon at all?
I watched half of the first episode with my roommate and his girlfriend, and then they got into a massive fight, and I went into my room.
Awkward.
It was the worst. But it's like he was a big Game of Thrones guy, and like he was like, I'm like, "Oh, dude, like we're gonna have this thing to do together every Sunday that isn't football. Like we're gonna have awesome, awesome end of the week things."
She had to come and ruin it.
She came over with her half blue head of hair and her zodiac signs and dream catchers, and it was just toast. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch The Sopranos in the room by myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go order a meatball sub. Jeez.
Yeah.
So you haven't watched?
I just got soured on it, and the same thing happened with me with. You ever seen Peaky Blinders? You done that one?
Peaky Blinders. I tried watching like an episode, and I didn't make it through, and I never went back to it. Not because
you fell asleep or you got bored?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. My sister-in-law told me to watch it, and we started watching it, and then I just never went back to it. Same thing
I
happened
mean,
with
people rave.
yeah, people rave about it, but the same thing happened
Rave.
with the drug one, Breaking Bad. I could not get into that show at all.
That's
And
bizarre. There's
no,
something
you
wrong
know,
with you.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think I have a theory. My theory is that I started watching it after years of it being already off the air. So I was binge watching it, and I don't think it's a good binge show. Well, for some
Mm.
people it might be a good binge show. For me, I think it would have been a better week by week episode, because when I noticed a lot of patterns, and it was the same pattern over and over again. Like he makes a lot of money, the kid does something so they lose all the money, and then they make a lot of money again, and the kid messes up, and then he has to bail him out with the money. And that happened like 3 seasons in a row, and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I hate this kid, whoever the kid is. I forget the kid's name.
Jesse.
I hate Jesse. Are you supposed to hate Jesse? I'm assuming, but
No, he's actually the one you're supposed to like.
oh really? Oh, I watched it all wrong.
This is the old man in you. You're like, fuck this stupid kid. He keeps fucking up the cool old guy's gimmick. Yeah.
Hey, watch the
No.
F-bombs there. We don't want to get thrown off YouTube.
I think those are fine. I think
Those are fine?
I think because let's just talk with the audience, and if you have anything in the comments,
Yeah.
both of our moms, if you're listening in the comments, if you know. I
Oh,
think
and
if
like and
it's like
subscribe. You have to like and subscribe,
Yeah.
right? This
yes,
is the first time. This is the first time we're doing YouTube. We were strictly podcasters for many years.
for
So
3 years. Yeah,
3 years, and
like
then
weekly. We did a lot.
oh yeah, we did a ton of stuff. We had close to 100 shows, and then I had another podcast that I used to do, which will go unnamed, that had over 200 episodes. It was like 6 years worth. But yeah, so we're new to this. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments, yell at us, say I'm wrong. I'll have a conversation with you all day long, and I'm sure Matt will too.
We'll phone you in. We'll phone you in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take callers. Why not?
We got off on a tangent. You have any other news there?
Oh, I think I'm on item 2.
What else you got? Damn, Snow White friggin' just did it to us, man. 32 minutes of Snow White talk. What a bitch.
It's a sign of a good show. It's a sign of a good show.
It is. It is.
Well, this one I thought was really dumb, because I don't know what it is about this month, or like these couple months, these like 6 weeks. All these big companies, like Disney included, have their big conferences.
Oh, like D23 and stuff?
Yeah. And one I was not expecting to have a massive conference was Chick-fil-A, who announced they will be starting their own streaming service to create family-friendly, unscripted programs for all to enjoy. I thought it was fake news. I have no idea what. Like, does everyone need to have a streaming service? Is this what needs to happen? Is Pfizer going to have a streaming service if they don't already? I mean, like what are we doing?
Yeah. Wow.
I don't understand.
So, how many Chick-fil-A's you got up there? Are they plentiful up there?
I think we only have like 2 or 3 on Long Island. And then there's like a couple in the city. There's one by my office when I worked in the city.
Yeah.
I frequented, to say the least.
For those of you who don't know, Matt lives north of the Mason-Dixon line. I live south of the Mason-Dixon line. Currently, I'm from north of the Mason-Dixon line. But down south, they are everywhere. Like, it is like Chick-fil-A is the place to go for your fast food.
And let's be honest, deservedly so.
It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. It's a little expensive, but it's very good.
It is one of the only ones you really don't feel like shit after. Like, really feel terrible.
They have a very healthy option for breakfast, which I like. That's one thing that I really like, because like
is it like the chicken biscuit thing?
No, that's a very unhealthy option. The chicken biscuit is the best thing they make. It's 100% the best thing they make. However, very unhealthy. It's a southern biscuit that's just buttery and great, and a friggin' fried chicken patty. No, I get this. It's like it's an egg white chicken with cheese on it, like a whole grain English muffin. Delicious.
Oh,
get it?
Yeah.
after you hit 40, dude, you got to really you got to cut out the chicken biscuits every once in a while. You know what I mean? You got to start
Oh,
watching
it's
your
already fully
sugar.
caught up to me. They've put microplastics in everything I've eaten since I was like 10.
Oh
It's
yeah.
caught up to me.
Oh
I'm a
yeah. Your
23 year
testicles are
old on
full. Your testicles are full of plastic. You know that's
who
where it
knows
settles,
what.
right? Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for the biology biology
Any,
lesson.
anytime, sir. Anytime. I wonder
I'm
what
a
their streaming
23 year
service is
old
going
though.
to have. You're
I
23 years
have
old, you
no
son of a
idea.
bitch.
I'm a 23-year-old
23.
who takes Nexium daily because of all the microplastics that's in this food.
Nexium. What's that for? Is that
It's
like?
like a heartburn.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, it's like a Pepto kind of thing,
Yeah.
but is it prescribed or is you can just get it over the counter?
No, no, no. No, you get it over
Oh.
the counter. But if I don't take it and I have like four pieces of like grocery store bacon, I'm
Well,
out of breath.
dude, you got like do you have like stress in your life? Like do you
The
need to
job
talk to
is
somebody?
not well. Oh my God. Well, this was one of the things I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
So my job has been very busy, but that's good. I
Hmm.
like busy. But
Yeah.
the MTA has been on my case, and I am outright banned from using MTA mobile services from here on out.
You might want to tell the good listener who the MTA is.
For those of you not from New York, the MTA is the Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Yes.
And and I take the train to work every day. I've taken the train to school since I was 15 years old, and I've taken the train to work since I've left college for the past 15 or so months. I'm a very loyal customer. I've used it my entire life. And now all of a sudden they've deterred us from using paper tickets and they have mobile tickets. You follow
Paper
me?
tickets. Yeah. When did I use the train a lot? What is this a Long Island thing that you have to use
You know,
paper
Long
tickets?
Island Railroad, yeah. Paper,
Gotcha. Okay.
we used to use paper tickets, but now they encourage you to use the mobile app, which works really, really well. But now it's working too well because my train ride isn't that long to work. So
Yeah.
most of the time, sometimes like for days, I will ride for free because the conductor can't, like doesn't find me or doesn't get to me in time because I only take the train for like less than 20 minutes.
Hmm.
And then I got on the train to go to work. And I have like 10 tickets at a time on there. I'm constantly buying because I use them, but sometimes I
Hmm.
don't.
Yeah.
I went onto the thing and my account was disabled when I was trying to get my tickets that I already purchased. And
Okay.
I talked to customer support. I'm like, why is my account disabled? And like, you haven't been activating your tickets when we haven't been scanning them. I said, yes, but you haven't been scanning them because you can't find me. So they have deactivated my account because I'm cheating
Hmm.
the system because their slovenly employees aren't going around the trains and getting my ticket.
So do you have
I
to
mean,
go out of your way to find an employee to have them scan your ticket in order for this not to happen?
no, they want you to because you have to like activate it so it has like a timestamp. And
Okay.
now they want me to activate it before I even get on the train. But now I'm banned because I violated the rule too many times.
So now how do you get on the
So
train?
now I'm using paper tickets
Hmm.
and
Is
saving a
this a
ton of money.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but the hassle I had to go through to get these people out of my grill, and then all of a sudden, so this is where the stress you were talking about comes in. I
Yeah.
was at work Tuesday, and I got a call from my parents. I still live. I'm 23 years old. I moved back in with my parents. That's always the goal, is to move back in with your
Right.
parents. And she called me and she said, "Were you messed up last night?" I was like,
Ooh.
no, I just like came home and went to bed. I was in bed by like 1 o'clock. I worked late at night, so I got home at like 1 o'clock in the morning and I made myself a grilled cheese and I went to bed. And she was
You wonder
like,
why you have heartburn.
right
One
before
o'clock in the
bed,
morning, grilled cheese. Yeah. That might do it.
she's like, do you remember what happened at 3:30 in the morning? I'm like, no, because I was asleep, was I not? She said, you sleptwalked into my you and my dad's room at 3:30 in the morning and your dad had to tuck you back into bed.
Oh my God. You had to get tucked into
The
bed. Did
the
daddy give you a
horror,
warm glass of milk and a cookie?
the the horror on my face hearing this phone call. I'm like, what? I mean, so embarrassing. And then they said, I said, well, they said, well, I'm like, well, like, were you guys like surprised? I said, no, you used to do this all the time. Apparently, I
Hmm.
have this issue. Isn't this is a good wasting time segment? I mean, this is.
Yeah.
I had no
Wow.
idea I had this issue. Apparently, I did it like a year ago and asked for. Yeah, so it's just incredibly embarrassing, and I and I don't know. That was. Did anything happen to you? Did you sleepwalk this week?
Uh, Geez, man. So I the amount of time I have these days is is almost none because I opened up a business where I am now in addition to my normal job. So I have a normal 9 to 5 job, and then I opened up a small business um, where I work after my first job, and I'm making a really good money with the second job. Like almost the second job should almost be called my first job because I'm making so much money doing it. But it's pretty much like that's like my spending cash on stuff. Like I just buy crazy guitars that I don't need or know how to play very well. With all that with all that money. That's like, we use that money to go on vacation and stuff, but I work a ton now. Um, so not a lot of things happen to me anymore. Like things used to happen to me all the time. I mean, I had a really bad experience at a car dealership, but that's who hasn't, right? Like so I refuse to buy a car through a dealership ever again. The last dealership I went to broke me. It absolutely broke me. And I've had issues with car dealerships my entire life where I've gotten mad at the dealerships, but this last one, this was the end. So I had bought a pickup truck where I moved for my second business, right? For my thing that I made when I got down here. Needed a big truck to carry equipment around and things like that. So my idea was um, I traded in a truck that I had already, and I put down like $3,000 or $4,000, right? So I put down like $16,000 into this car, and I leased it. So after the lease was over, I was going to buy it out. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, why didn't you buy it out in the first place, right? What I tried to do, and I think it worked, and I think they got pissed, and I think that's why I had this altercation, was that I tried to basically defer the interest by doing a lease, right? Because if I financed $40,000, the interest would have been pretty high on that, right? The monthly payments interest on $40,000 or $50,000 loan would have been pretty high, right? So I'm
Did I
paying.
mention I live with my parents?
Yes. Did I mention I don't? And you asked me this, so you asked, so I got it. So you're
No,
getting it.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
So
Talking about interests, and I'm like, why isn't there any chocolate milk in the fridge? Like,
why do I have heartburn?
why do I have heartburn?
Yeah. So what I tried to do is I tried to get around paying all that interest by doing a lease. So I pay a certain amount of money and I pay a certain amount of a month. And at the end, what I have is a lesser, because what you're doing in a lease, Matt, I'm gonna be dad here and I'm gonna teach you a little something. What you're doing, yeah, what you're doing with the lease is you're basically buying half the car, right? You're paying a monthly
Yes.
payment to get half the value of the car. So at the end of the lease, you basically have a chunk of money at the end that is left over that you can buy out or you can release a new car, right? So at the end of the lease, it was $20,000. After my 3 years of paying lease payments, the final balloon payment was 20 grand. So I want to buy the car. I want to buy the truck. So I go to the friggin' dealership and I say, listen, I'm thinking about buying the truck. And they say, okay, it'll be $30,000. And I'm like, I only owe 20. And they're like, well, that's not how it works. We're going to F you. And I'm like, well, they didn't exactly say that. But I was like, why are you going to F me? That's not, don't F me. Like, I just want to buy the truck. And he's like, well, that's how it has to be because you bought it at a different dealership and now we have to buy it from them and now we have to sell it to you. And hey, we got to make $1. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like it kind of sucks. And, I'm on the phone I call up the lease company and the lease company's like, yeah, well, you can buy it through us and it'll be 20,000. And, oh no, they wouldn't tell me the price. That was the big thing. I said, well, how much do I owe on the truck? And they're like, oh, sir, we can't tell you that. I'm like, you can't tell me that. They're like, no. Do you want to buy it? I'm like, do I want to buy it? I don't know how much it's going to cost me. They're like, well, do you want to buy it? And I'm like, well, can you tell me how much it costs? They're like, no, we can't tell you that. I'm like, I don't get this. I was like, what about the interest rate? Can you tell me how much the interest rate would be? Because I can go to another bank and get a loan for a different interest rate. And they're like, no, we can't tell you that either. And I'm like, you just want me to say yes? Is that what you want me to do? You just want me to say yes to an arbitrary number that you're not going to tell me, and then I'll just have to, I'll just find out when I get my first bill. Like, I don't understand this. And she transfers me to somebody else, and that person tells me the price, and he had to basically this other guy had to sign off so the other person could tell me the price of the car and give me an interest rate and give me a quote. And it was like 2.5. I think what they do is they try to break you until you just say yes, and messing with the wrong guy.
Way too much and the whole thing.
Yeah. So I ended up getting it for the price I wanted to get it for, but it just took too long, and it'll be much easier for me just to buy a car on Facebook Marketplace, cash money, and I don't have to worry about any of that. Oh, dude, I bought my wife a Toyota Tacoma. It was a 2019 Toyota Tacoma with 35,000 miles on it. A Toyota Tacoma will last you 20 years. If you change the oil every 5,000 miles and you don't drive it like a moron, that thing will last you 20 years. The person who was selling it, their father died, and it was his truck, and he took care of it. He kept it in the garage the whole time. He changed the oil every 5,000 miles. I got it for $30,000. I took out a home equity loan and paid. I gave the guy $10,000 and I took a loan out for the rest. Never had to go to a dealership. Oh, it was great. It's great. My son will drive that truck. That truck will be here for a long time. Long time.
Oh, dude.
But
your son in that truck when he's like 17, he's going to have a fun time.
Yeah.
Having a truck when you're 17 is very cool.
Especially when you're south of the border, or south of the Mason-Dixon, where it's all pickup trucks down here and Main Street.
Yes. All the people that drive pickup trucks, and they're friends of mine on Long Island, are idiots.
That's about right.
I mean, things that Toxic Fandom, things that would piss you off when you see an adult, someone that's over 22, 23 years old.
Yeah. I think that's
driving a pickup truck. No, 23, I'll call an adult. If you own the car, because I have friends, and this guy I'm talking about too. Okay. He owns a pickup truck. All he puts in the back are golf clubs.
I think I might know who you're talking about. I hate golf. I do. However, that wouldn't be
so much.
That wouldn't be far off from what people do down here with it either. I mean, there might be golf clubs in it one day. And hay bales.
No, but like it's like 5 guys going to the links, and it's just like, oh, we'll take X's car because he has the bed. I'm like, have you ever put a 4x4 plywood in the? And it's just clearly no.
There's no 4x4 plywood.
There's got to be some 4 feet by 4 feet thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This is why I don't drive. But I don't drive a pickup truck. So I don't have to know.
Right. You'll never fit the 4x4 plywood in your car, whatever car that is. Your train tickets.
No. And
no.
I got another ticket. I got a ticket today too.
Like a speeding ticket?
No. My registration was on the dashboard because I got a new one and I didn't do the sticker. $180.
So one wonderful thing about living down south, especially in the state I live in, is that they don't do the stickers in the windows. So like I was at the DMV getting my license, and I'm looking around waiting for my number to get called, which takes like 2 seconds down here. It's not like New York. And I'm looking around in the parking lot. I'm like, where do people put their registration stickers and their inspection stickers? Right. And I found out that the registration is nothing more than a sticker of the year, and it goes on your license plate. Right. So if I go today to get my car registered, it'll be good until, August 21st of 25. So it'll just be a sticker that says 2025, and you put that on your license plate. And I was like, where are the inspection stickers go? And guess what? No inspections down here. No inspections. Your car can be as filthy as you want it to be. My old Ford is straight piped. No catalytic converters, just pure pollution coming out the back. 8 V8 pure pollution coming out the back. It sounds killer. Love that truck. It makes me so happy to drive that truck, and my daughter loves it. My daughter loves that truck.
Just because it's loud?
I wish I could show you a picture. If I knew how to show pictures on here, I would. Because I would show you a picture.
If we learn how to show pictures on here, we're going to change the game. We're great with pictures.
We are very good with pictures.
We're very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're visual. Ooh.
I'm trying. I don't know. There's all these buttons down here. Present. Slides. Oh my goodness! Look at all this stuff. Nah, we'll do this another day.
You know what we might need to do?
We might need to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
One thing before we do that.
Okay.
Before we do that, we might need to do an episode where we get someone from, like, what do they call it? Geek Squad?
Yeah. Yeah.
And get them to and we're going to have fun, and they're going to teach us how to do all of this, but we'll just be messing with them the whole time. That would be a ton of fun. If he has a sense of humor.
And we just act dumb.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good. I would bet that they would get pretty angry pretty quick, because they're not the type of people. They're not the type of people that I don't know how to say it. Have friends, like get along well socially with other people.
They lack certain skills. Yes.
Yeah, personal.
But they're very good with computers.
They are. They are. But anyway, let's get into Deadpool Wolverine. I think that's why Person has subscribed and hit the like button just for our review of Deadpool Wolverine. Now, just to give you a little background, I like Deadpool 1. I like Deadpool 2. I like this movie. I liked. I mean, non spoilers. First off, I had a good time, and I haven't had a good time in the movies in quite a while. Let's put it that way. I saw Horizon.
How did you see Deadpool 1? You saw that in the theater?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw both of them, Deadpool 1 and 2 in the theater. Yeah.
I saw. You know how I got? Because I was not of age when Deadpool 2 came out.
Oh, I hate you. Yeah.
And this person will go unnamed, but I was hanging out, and he asked me. He was an adult, and he had asked me what I was, like a friend, but like a in a non-weird way. He was like, "What are you doing?" I ran into him like, "What are you doing later?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna go see Deadpool 2. Like I had some spare time before like this event we were going to later." And he was like, "Oh, cool. Bring my son, who's like 13." And I was like 8. I think I was 17. So neither of us were getting into this movie, because they were really, this was like pre-COVID. People would actually touch and talk to people. So like they would like check our IDs, and neither one of us were passing. So we went, and I bought a ticket to see the Pope Francis documentary. Bought 2 tickets to Pope Francis and snuck into Deadpool 2.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I thought that was a fun little anecdote.
It was. I liked it. Little old Matt sneaking into movies.
Yeah.
Very good. I like it.
I was doing that all the time back in the day.
Those are the good old days. You could still do that today.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not checking tickets. Especially at my theater. There's nobody at my theater. My theater is always empty, no matter what it is.
Actually, a guy I work with now was the manager his last job. He was like one of the managers of like a Regal cinema,
Hmm.
and he's like, you can get away with basically murder at any of them. He's like, I promise you. There's nothing. There's no surveillance. There's no security. It's very easy to get away. He's like, dude, bring in a 10-course meal. No one's stopping you. But
Really?
yes, Deadpool and the Wolverine.
Yes.
You had a good time. You didn't
I had
hate
a
it.
good time. I didn't hate it, but it definitely it's not a good movie. Like,
I actually think it's a very good movie.
really, we're gonna have a
Did
good
you?
time talking about this.
All right. I mean, like, d- did you like check your phone? Like, I was kind of glued. I thought that this was all great.
Hmm. Did I
And I'm
check my
happy you feel
phone?
this way because I was very nervous going into this that we would feel the same way. Because the way I
Right.
feel about this movie is that there's like very little to really criticize. Like it was unabashedly itself, and it everything had like a purpose, and it wasn't annoying, and it was funny, and it moved. Like I haven't seen a movie like that in the theaters that isn't like a serious thing in a very, very long time.
I agree with everything you said. So when I say it wasn't a good movie, I'm strictly talking about how loose the story was. The movie itself was extremely entertaining. I loved Hugh Jackman. I loved Ryan Reynolds. Was it too long? Yes. I could have easily done with 20 less minutes of that movie. Um answer this question for me because I didn't get this. So now you also have to realize I haven't watched any of the Disney Plus TV shows after WandaVision. Okay. So I'd never seen
Which
Loki.
was not bad.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. I thought WandaVision was okay. Um, but I did not watch Loki or anything after Loki. So the whole
Loki
time,
one you would enjoy.
mm, mm, I don't know.
It
It's one of
was
those things. It's
why?
one of those things where they took Loki and made him weak. He's a god, right? He's like a demigod, isn't he?
He's a
And
demigod, yeah.
he's getting punched in the nuts by like a female version of him. That's not old man Steve. Like it's that's not gonna fly. And like they made it,
It's good from what I remember, but I have not
but
watched it
it's
since it came out.
but it's also like they took everything that you watched for 10 years and made it worthless. And that bothers me. Like I invested 10 years of my life into phase 1 through 3 or whatever it was, right? Like I from 2008 when I first got invested in Iron Man and I made it all the way through to Endgame, seeing every movie on the night it came out with my best friends every single time a movie came out, no matter what movie it was. They threw it like the friggin' Infinity Stones were in the desk drawer of a TVA agent. And I was like, I'm out. Like that,
Mm.
like I'm done. Like this, everything that I invested my life, my interest in is meant nothing in that show. So and I wasn't a big fan of Loki throughout the movies, to be honest with you. Like Loki was not one of my favorite characters in those movies. When he died, it meant nothing to me. When when Thanos broke his neck, I didn't feel sad. I felt sad for Thor. I didn't feel sad for Loki. Loki was not one of my favorites. I thought I and I know people loved his character. I think the dude who plays him does him well, but the character of Loki didn't do much for me. Um, so the whole TVA thing, I don't necessarily get. Okay, I know that there are multiple timelines and all this other crap, but in this movie, just like I'm not stupid. I can kind of follow along with things. So in this movie, you're the what's the baddie's name?
Bald woman.
No, the dude, the British guy.
I
Equinox or
know his
something
name.
crap. What's the hell's his name? Not Equinox. It's something like that. Parallax. That's another
Mr. Paradox. Mr. Paradox.
paradox. Paradox,
But
right?
all I
Yeah.
know him as, I know you don't like this show, But
Yeah.
and went with a buddy. He's in the show Succession. It might be
Never seen
impossible
it.
for me to not see him as this character. But yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Paradox.
Okay.
Mister. He's not a doctor. He doesn't have his
So
doctorate.
right. He doesn't have PhD.
No.
So Paradox, there's a timeline that he wants to destroy, right?
Yes.
And he wants to destroy it quickly. It's going to fade out on its own. Over time, this timeline will destroy itself. But for some reason, unbeknownst to me, he wants to end it rather quickly. Am I
Yes.
right so far? Okay.
I
So
believe
question number
so.
one. Question number one is, why does he have such a hard on about ending it so quick? But whatever. Who cares, right? Number two, he takes Deadpool out of that timeline. For what reason? Why does he take Deadpool out of the timeline? He could have just done what he was going to do and leave Deadpool there.
Well, they showed that Deadpool is going to be in the sacred timeline.
Right.
So he has to play some sort of a role, which I'm also not even sure I like, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that he would mesh well with the rest of the gang.
Yeah.
Like he kind of is better as the misfit, as like his own thing.
Yeah.
I think I would be kind of jarred to see him with like Chris Hemsworth and Spider-Man and all these guys. Like I don't think he fits. He's kind of
I
supposed
think
to be like an insecure, like mouthy, again, self-aware. Like it's a joke of a character. It's an actual parody of a character.
yeah.
So it's just kind of a weird thing that they've now entrapped themselves into because it made like $1 bajillion.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question.
Why does
So
Mr. Paradox
why take Deadpool out of the timeline and bring him to the TVA? It caused nothing but grief for Paradox.
I'm not going to try and defend it. I don't know.
Because that's how the movie starts. The movie starts with Paradox sending TVA people to get Deadpool to bring him to him. And he says to Deadpool, my bosses think that you're special and that you need to be saved from the timeline. And then you learn that he's not working for his bosses, he's working for himself. Paradox. So that whole thing is a lie.
Wasn't there something that I'm trying to think like in terms of like this, like I think that the way that they were going about it, just as how they characterize the TVA, is that it's a company, right?
Yes.
So maybe I think what I was getting, and I could be wrong, and I definitely am playing a little bit of devil's advocate because this is a podcast, that like if he could devise a way to destroy a reality quicker than just letting it die out and potentially having diverging things,
Yeah.
like maybe that's like a good company man.
But why does he need Deadpool out of the timeline? He could have done what he wanted. He had the machine
they're
made.
trying to
He had the machine to
but they're trying to
destroy the
move
timeline.
Deadpool, but they're trying to move his Deadpool special. So he's like working for the company.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's like when it's like in a kitchen when a chef thinks that like a recipe's better and they like send it out when they're not supposed to, but they've fucked up the menu now. So like now the head chef is pissed, but he was really had the best interest in mind, but he was still going rogue to make a name for himself. I don't know.
Now, I'm sure person listening to this is saying, why are you thinking so deeply into this? And to be really honest, while I was watching the movie, that question, while he's having the conversation at the beginning with Paradox, this came into my mind, and then I quickly said, F it, I don't care. Let's just have fun with the movie. And then I proceeded to have a lot of fun with the movie. But it's hard for me to reflect on this movie for the podcast to think about how much I liked it when that I don't get why this movie ever happened. I don't understand why the movie occurred with Deadpool.
I really think,
Paradox ruined his own plan. It's not like
yes,
Deadpool was on a mission to stop this from happening. It was all an accident, which I guess maybe maybe that's in the vein of Deadpool, that maybe shit just accidentally happened.
But here's another thing that supports your theory, right?
Yeah.
The TVA can see basically the entire future, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because they own time or whatever.
Yeah.
So wouldn't he know that Deadpool would screw up the plan to preserve the thing? Unless this is causing, again, this is when you get into like the Back to the Future 2 scenario of like, well, what caused what and how many Martys are there? So I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm with you.
Let's take
The
that
whole
out.
thing is to introduce the idea of the anchor being, and I'll write that down because we'll get back to what that is.
So
Because
that also
that's an interesting idea.
And that leads me to another question: Is Deadpool in the Logan timeline?
That was also very unclear. But
Because the anchor being was
I think that
Logan.
is a yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is that timeline the Fox timeline?
Yes.
So all the Fox things that happened in Deadpool's timeline, I'm assuming. And when Logan died,
Yes.
in that universe, it starts to decay. And I guess maybe, is Tony going to be an anchor being for the other reality kind of thing? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I've heard 3 candidates for the anchor being of that universe.
Mm-hmm.
One is Tony, and
Yeah.
because I know you don't like this, and I've been saving this. It's literally the last note I have because I was waiting to bring this up, and I'm going to save that for the last one. One is
Okay.
Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, he's the future. He's the most popular superhero in the world.
Yeah.
Just so is he
Hands
the
down.
anchor being? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
2 I've heard, which I think would maybe be the most interesting, is Doctor Strange.
Okay.
This Kevin Feige, I think, had like a Freudian slip
Mm-hmm.
after when they was doing the multiverse press,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this movie. He's going to be the anchor of the MCU." He said anchor, so that might have been
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit of an accident, whoopsie.
Yeah.
And he is the one that tells Tony Stark the one, like
Yeah. Right.
so, and he's going to have to be a pretty heavy hitter because they've really outsourced a lot of the other guys, and he
Mm-hmm.
works. People like him,
And he
so
can also
maybe he's
open
the
up
anchor
portals
being.
to other dimensions.
Yes, he's very important.
Right.
The other one, yes, is Tony Stark. And what I've heard is that when they're like trying to fight, or when like the 616 is failing, Tony Stark, they go and bring a variant of him in, like they did with Logan, but it
Mm-hmm.
turns out to be an evil Tony Stark,
Oh, like
who
Von
is
Doom,
Victor Von Doom.
right. And what that was in a comic where he was Doctor Doom. Yeah, I think that's. I don't want to get too off topic because I want to talk about this movie a little more. But
Yeah,
I like RDJ a lot. I liked his Iron Man. I don't like the fact that they're bringing him back to do Doom. We can talk about that after we talk about this movie.
I think
But
that's like the closer because that's like the
yeah,
future.
right.
But this
So
is like the references really worked in this movie. All the cameos are really funny, and the story it all really makes sense after the initial not making sense whatsoever. They
like I
had
said,
great chemistry.
oh yeah, they were great together. I think I found myself getting bored during the movie. Like the fight scenes, both of these characters can't die. So
Hmm.
the fight scenes between them don't mean much. So I didn't need 2 10-minute fight scenes between them. You had one in the car, and you had one in like the desolation, the
In the
apocalypse
Fox
area.
universe.
Yeah, the Fox universe, right?
You saw
Like,
the sign, right?
yeah. There was a whole bunch of
That
little Easter
was
eggs there.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't need both of those action scenes. Like, I got very bored with the car scene. If I would have just got the fight in the car, or if I would have just got the fight in the Fox place, I would have been fine.
Which
Because
one would you? I
that
think I'd take the Honda Odyssey fight over the Fox scene.
I think either one doesn't matter. Take her, men's and men's. It wouldn't have
Really, you
mattered
don't
to
have
me.
a preference? I think those. I like the idea of the big confrontation. It's in
I
a mini.
I kind of like the fight in the big space better.
Just as a spectacle.
Because you can they can make them move like superheroes more. Like, it looks more comic booky to me. Nothing wrong with the car fight scene. Very cool, very well choreographed or whatever. The very creative with like the use of the car. But I like seeing them move like superheroes. Like, call that cliche. Yeah, like the way like Wolverine moves like Wolverine. Spider-Man has Spider-Man moves, right? There are certain body positions that certain characters have that are unique to them, right? I want to see that.
Yes.
And the open spaces, I think, lend more to that. But like I said, nothing wrong with the car scene. Like, that was fine. But I found myself bored with that. I found myself very bored with all the other Deadpools. Like, at the end.
That was boring. I agree.
Why were they even there? Are they on the side of Professor X's sister? What was their purpose there? Were they trying to slow down Deadpool?
They had said that, well, they were all sent to the void as well.
Yeah.
Because so many of the Deadpools were just obsolete.
Yeah.
But I guess that was it. I think it was a way for him to get all of his family into the movie as a joke for weird this is okay. This is for weird nerds who, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
I really try not to be one of them, and I don't think I am. Who like kind of obsess so much over a celebrity where they create like a false reality that they think that they know them. Yeah. And like, oh my God, the whole family. I'm like, you don't know these people.
Yeah.
Because Brie Larson's in there, and I think they have two. She's Lady Deadpool. That's her voice.
No, that's Blake Lively.
Who did I say?
Brie Larson.
We were talking about Brie Larson before we started. That's why I got confused. They have the same initials. That's why I got confused.
Yes.
Blake Lively, and there's the two or three, because Kid Pool and Baby Pool are his children.
Yes.
Or who knows, but they allegedly are.
Yeah.
And there's these really
Western Pool was Matthew McConaughey. That
I knew. That's like kind of funny. If he'd taken off the mask, like, and we got to see, that would have been funny instead of him just literally. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I hate when they take off the masks. Like, I think that's the biggest downfall of superhero movies is the mask coming off. Whenever they went
but other than it just being Matthew McConaughey,
right? But he's from Texas and he's a cowboy. Like, it's funny. Maybe they could have had him. Maybe they could have had him speak so that you knew it was him. Because I didn't know it was him until I heard it later.
Just do something,
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, back to these very, very sick people who obsess over celebrity, and like a voice cameo from Blake Lively. They're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, it's not.
And it wasn't even her body.
You know what Blake?
She was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
Yeah, she's one of my crushes, by the way. She's like my number one crush. Just
every other man with a brain.
Shut up, Matt.
Well, what's kind of funny is she did exactly what we're doing now to be in that
podcast.
Movie. And she did it. She didn't do it. She did it in her house. Like, this is what they can do now. Like, it's not like it was like this amazing.
I don't remember her having a line.
She has a line.
Oh, okay.
She's got. So does McConaughey. McConaughey has one. They both have one line,
Gotcha.
but
All right.
again, it's for very sick people. So
Yes.
I'm happy they liked it.
S-
Because
So
are you on Snapchat?
no, God no. I hate that's a new thing, Matt. I would hate that. I'm on the
On
Facebook.
like I have like nerd. I have like some nerd stuff on Snapchat, and like the
Yeah.
news on Snapchat is like, oh my gosh, they got the whole family in the movie. I'm like, really? This
Yeah.
is what you liked? It was like it cost like $100 million, and he got his wife to do a voice memo, and
I
this is
I
what you
did
liked.
I did really like all the cameos. I
They all
loved
made, yes, they all made like a. I love Pyro. I love seeing all those guys. What was your favorite one? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Well, you're on a little bit of delay. That's why we were talking over each other. But my favorite
Oh,
cameo. People are giving Gambit a hard time, and Channing Tatum. I thought it was amazing. I thought he was hysterical. I would love to see a
that
full
is
movie of Channing Tatum
exactly
Gambit.
that is exactly what Gambit is supposed to be.
Yeah,
100%. The only thing that you could maybe criticize is that he's like, if you're going to be really like annoying, is that Gambit is like a little slender and Channing
yeah,
Tatum is just like
yeah,
a huge dude.
yeah,
But if that's your complaint,
yeah.
like get the accent, that was not easy. It couldn't have been easy.
I don't know if he's
That's what
from
he sounds like.
Louisiana. Yeah,
Yeah, he
uh,
has a what do they call that? Is that Creole or
you're Creole Cajun. But I meant
Cajun?
Channing Tatum. Is he from Louisiana, or is he had to like learn that accent?
I think he had to learn that accent.
Yeah, that's not
He
easy.
was
That's
really
not
good at
easy.
it.
Yeah,
That's what
and I
it
love the
sounded like in
costume.
the. It was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, let it happen.
Um.
I think he has said, I believe, that he would do it again.
Oh, why
But
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't I mean, if I was Chris Hemsworth, I would live being Thor. Like that's all I would do. Who cares if you're typecast? Like, but that's easy for me to say, but you know, I would love to do that. But Elektra was fine. I thought she was good. I was really hoping to see Ben Affleck Daredevil. Um,
I
I
don't
thought he would
believe
do it
they're
because
on
he.
speak. They're on, like, I
Is
don't
that
think
his
they're on
ex?
speaking terms.
Is that his ex-wife or something?
Yeah, they
Oh,
got
okay.
married after that in you remember Glee? Remember that one? Or is that
Oh,
with Jennifer
Gigli.
Lopez?
Gigli. Yeah, yeah. That was Jennifer Lopez.
Because he's been divorced to two very famous people. It gets very confusing.
Yes. But maybe that's when he got with Jennifer Lopez and broke up. Who knows? Who knows? Um,
But yeah, but they've not to get into
yeah,
celebrity again. We're trying to
right.
not be one of these sick people.
I did love the villain. What was her name?
She was great.
What's her character name? Gosh.
I just know that she's Charles Xavier's sister.
Yeah, it's Nova. Nova.
Yeah, she
Something
was
Nova.
great.
Yeah.
Because she was
Yeah.
actually scary.
Yeah, no, she
Like
played a
she
good role.
not scary, but like she could hurt the heroes like a
Yeah.
villain. You know.
And she
I
she
liked.
was ruthless too.
Yes, that was a cool, creepy effect too with the hand in the face. That was like very comic book, very fantasy. Um, no, she was great. Uh,
You think she uses that trick in other ways? You check your prostate with it or something?
she'd be a great doctor. She really could have had
She
a whole career.
she'd be a great proctologist. Her name was Cassandra Nova in the
Cassandra
in the
Nova.
Cassandra Nova. Yeah, she was pretty cool. I like how they gave her backstory where she didn't even know Charles, which is pretty neat.
Yes.
Um, the redemption. I love the redemption arc of Wolverine because that's what I wanted out of Thor in Endgame. I wanted Thor to have the big redemption arc. And he didn't have to be the one that ultimately destroyed Thanos. Like I like that it was Tony Stark because he started the MCU, right? But I think they did Thor dirty in that. And I'm glad they didn't do Wolverine dirty. They really gave him a really cool redemption arc. What I am a little not sour on, but I think the explanation of why he was a shitty Wolverine in his universe was lame. Like he
Yeah,
went out and got
I
drunk and
thought
they
they
all
were gonna
died.
do. I thought they were gonna do
House of M.
the yeah, when he accidentally got like tricked by Mysterio and killed
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Was it Mysterio or was it
That's what.
Scarlet Witch?
Oh, it was. I can't
I don't. I thought
again
that would have been cool if
nerdy,
they
but
used
not
Scarlet Witch.
again nerdy, but not like
Yeah.
all the way
Right.
in
Right.
to
Yeah.
reaffirm our point. But yeah,
Right.
something like that wasn't a great point. And then like the people in the bar know it. Like
Yeah.
like that's not like a headline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a
Like he
personal
was.
thing.
That's a personal thing. Like he would.
Yeah.
I thought he like would have done it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a great, and they got really lucky because the girl that plays X-23 is great.
Hmm. Oh, she's phenomenal.
She
Yeah.
was.
She's cool.
I remember when we watched that first trailer together, and you were like, this, I don't know. And then we saw it like the weekend, and we came back and you're like, dude, that was awesome.
Oh, Logan was great, dude. Logan was a phenomenal movie. I
Logan's
loved that
great,
movie. Yeah, I really liked that
and
one.
that is one of the better opening sequences of any superhero movie, any action movie. The Bye Bye
Mhm.
Bye with
With his
is that your
skeleton.
type of music? With his skeleton and just bludgeoning people, and it's literally like it's a great joke. I mean, there's everyone was complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, Logan was this great ending and this whole thing, and it's like, okay, we're gonna not only acknowledge it, we're just gonna actually dig up his grave and just give you the finger
Yeah.
and just kill everybody with his dead carcass.
His adamantium carcass. Yeah, that was fun. And I liked that they did it over the opening credits. Like, that's how they kind
Yes.
of introduced everything, which was pretty cool. And just to let you know, I did own that CD. I'm
In
sorry.
sync.
I own the NSYNC CD. I owned the Backstreet Boys CD as well. And I remember putting those discs into my Sony Discman while commuting to school. I'm sorry to say.
At my work, you should know.
Yeah,
You shouldn't feel ashamed. At
I
my
am a
work,
little bit.
they do like a karaoke thing at like
Yeah.
the eighth inning.
Uh-huh.
Just don't look there. At the eighth inning, and Bye 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 wins like at least twice a week.
Really?
Everyone sings that song still. It's very popular, and I think that the
Yeah.
Deadpool thing kind of like skyrocketed back into the popularity.
Sure. Yeah, it's a catchy tune, man. It's a catchy tune. What else did I like about this? I liked how he went through and saw the different Wolverines. That was really cool. Little comic book realistic Wolverine was funny. How about friggin' Henry Cavill Wolverine? Oh my god, do I want to see that? That dude could play any superhero, dude.
He's like the most handsome, jacked, enormous guy in the
And
world.
he's a
Like
nerd, and he's a big geek.
he's a complete geek. He
Oh, I
would,
want to say
you know,
this because sorry to cut you off, but I
no,
heard that they're in the new Superman movie that they're doing in the DCU that Green Lantern's going to be in it in some capacity, and Booster Gold is going to be in the world. I don't know if he's going to be in the Superman movie, but I know Booster Gold is going to be in the DCU. I think they're going to do like a Booster Blue Beetle kind of buddy cop kind of movie kind of thing.
yeah,
And I love Booster Gold. Booster Gold's like one of my favorites.
he's one of my favorite superheroes.
I want to put this out there. The guy who was in Twisters should be fucking Booster Gold.
You cracked it wide open.
Tell me that guy wouldn't be the best Booster Gold.
Oh my god.
Like the Top Gun version of him, right? When he's in Top Gun Maverick. Like that attitude
Yeah.
is that's Booster Gold. If they hire anybody else to be Booster Gold, it's wrong. Just putting that out there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's such
He would.
the shoe fits.
You're right. Right.
It's more than a shoe. It's the glass slipper that fits. It's
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
9 yards.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I hadn't thought of that.
That was the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that Booster Gold was going to be in the DCU. I was like, it's got to be that dude, man. He pulls off arrogant, a-hole all day. But anyway,
And
back to
and with sorry, we could talk about Booster Gold like for another hour.
you know I
How much we love.
have an original Dan Jurgens page of Booster Gold.
No,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I met him at
That's pretty sick.
New York Comic Con. The last time I went, it was the Comic Con right before COVID hit. Right, it was like February of 2020, and COVID hit in March of 2020. And he was just there, you know, signing autographs and stuff and drawing things. And he has like boxes of original art. And I just found one page out of a comic book that had like 4 drawings of Booster on it, and it was like $60. And he signed it for me. And then I went
Wow.
around the con and I found the actual book it came out of. So I have the actual comic with the page in it and the actual drawn page, and I got them framed together. So it's pretty cool.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
neat. Yeah. But yeah, Henry
Oh,
Cavill
we're talking
can
about
play.
the Cavalrine, yes.
Yeah, so Wolverine, I like that. Here's a question for you. Who do you want to see Henry Cavill play? Who do you think Henry Cavill could do the best superhero of? And DC, Marvel, whatever. What do you want to see him do?
It is really a shame, by the way, because he would have been he was Superman.
Yeah.
He would have been
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
They really messed that up. And I really like James Gunn, and I think that he does a really good job with this stuff, but that would have been great. But Henry Cavill, I'm just trying to think of like who, because they've already done so many people,
Yeah.
you know?
I kind of want to see. I know it's not a superhero, but I want to see him as Bond. I don't know if you've ever seen Man from Uncle, but Man from Uncle
Yeah,
it's another type of Bond movie, and he's in that, and he's great in it. But yeah,
they for whatever reason went against the public because everyone wanted Idris Elba to play James Bond, and
hmm
I think that that'd be stellar. He's the
yeah,
coolest guy.
yeah,
But Cavill, man, if he could play anyone, I don't even know. They could
yeah.
do like he would probably be a good Terminator.
He's too pretty to be Terminator. He's
What a
too good
pretty
looking.
Terminator. He's too good looking.
Yeah, he's too good looking for
And
that.
were you you definitely were like a The Witcher guy?
I was not a Witcher guy. I wanted to be a Witcher guy. And I watched like the first episode and I'm like, this is strange. I forget what it was about The Witcher, but I turned it on and I was like, I don't like this. And I never played the video game.
That's
But
fair.
yeah,
But
that
on
wasn't my
Cavill,
yeah.
would you want him to do Wolverine? Would you like him to do it? Like,
I would love to see him do Wolverine. He's a fan. I want to see people who love the stuff do it. And I know that's not always a thing, right? So that's not a prerequisite for me because you hear stories about people not wanting to play roles and that's the role they're known for and that's the role that is famous. That's what made them famous. Um like who was the guy that played opposite Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws, the boat captain. Like I don't think he was very happy with that role or being like he hated Richard
the
Dreyfuss.
Jaws guy,
Yeah.
just being the
Yeah.
Jaws guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And and was it the guy who played Obi-Wan? Like he didn't want to be Obi-Wan. He thought that was a joke. Like he was like a
Yeah,
classically trained actor.
Alec Guinness was like an award-winning actor. He's in like
Yeah.
yeah, he's in like The Bridge Over the River Kwai. Like
Yeah.
he did
And
he wanted to check, and all of a sudden he was like, "What the? This is what I'm known for now? Like this
right.
dumb, this dumb
Right. So
movie."
so
Like,
it's not a prerequisite that people have to like the thing. Like people give all these Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power people a lot of grief about like not knowing the lore of Tolkien. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that show sucks. And I'm gonna hate watch it just because I wanna see it because I love that world. But they like I don't think it's necessary for them to know. But the fact that Henry Cavill loves that stuff and has so much passion
yes,
about it, it makes it more like believable for me. You know?
I'm just laughing about the image of you watching Rings of Power with like 9-inch nails in the background. Just like, God damn. Just
I
pissed
hurt
off.
myself today. It's just a Johnny Cash
Just
version of that.
just ever like you just like with
Yeah.
the bourbon in one hand, just like what the God
Yeah.
damn. Ugh.
Ugh. We
No,
have to
but Cavill,
do episodes after each one of those shows.
I got to catch up.
Well, catch up, Matt. You're 23. You live with your parents. You're eating fucking grilled cheese at one in the morning. You can find some time to
I'm watching.
watch Rings of Power. Okay, on the train, watch an episode. Okay.
All right, yeah, I'll do it. So truthfully, like I don't need to sit down and watch this thing. I could watch this on the train. That's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, okay, I'll
Just as
make
long as
that
you know
happen.
what. Yeah. Just as long as you know what's going on, because
My,
that's gonna make it.
my
That's
dad
gonna
gets.
generate. That's gonna generate some
Go ahead. I'm
viewers.
sorry.
That's gonna generate.
My
We have
dad
to do that
gets.
stuff
My dad gets so mad.
at
He's
Lord of
just
the
like,
Rings.
what the? He loves Lord of the Rings. He read the.
Oh.
He's one of these guys. He read the books when he
Yeah.
was a kid. Like at the appropriate age, he was like 14, and and they
Yeah.
were like new-ish, when he was growing up.
Yeah.
He loved them. Like he saw all the movies in theaters, the whole thing. He showed them to me and my brothers, and we all like when they're on, Showtime or whatever. We're like, oh, sit down and watch this for a little. And then he was watched the new show. He's like, he's like, what the hell? I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? It's like Galadriel's supposed to be like the most powerful witch in the world, and she
Yeah.
sucks now. This is
Yeah.
awful.
We have to find out
Apparently, I bet you.
when this new show comes out. When's it
I actually
released?
heard the reviews of season 2 were not bad.
Yeah. You know who's telling you that? People who got
Because
paid off by Amazon.
does that he has enough money to do that, Jeff Bezos?
Yes. Yes. So it comes out on August 29th, episode 1. So before the 29th, which is a week from today, we have to do a preview show where we talk about season 1 and we get ready
Okay.
for season 2.
How many episodes are there?
I think there's 8.
Okay. Because
Yeah. Put it on
I
double
work every
speed.
day. Do they have that feature? I would love that.
I think so. Maybe they do.
Wow, that's so ADD.
Have you not watched it?
Not a second.
It is god awful. If you like the books, if you like the movies, you're gonna hate this. I I grew up on The Hobbit. Like when I was little, there's a 1970s cartoon Hobbit by Rankin and Bass, the same people that do like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the claymation stuff. They did the Hobbit cartoon in the 70s. And they did all Lord of the Rings movies too, but I'd never seen those. My parents had bought me the VHS tape for The Hobbit, and I watched it all the time. It's like a half-hour little cartoon. It's amazing. And then, when I got old enough, like 12 or 13, I read the books. And then once I got to like high school, maybe a little older than high school, I started reading The Hobbit every Christmas. Like every Christmas break we had, I would read The Hobbit because it's a tiny little book. And those are my least favorite
It's a
movies,
kid.
by the way.
It's a kid's book. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, that made me want to go look at or watch Lord of the Rings, the movies. And then those movies made me want to read those books. And so I read those books while I was watching the movies. But this show is so bad. It's so bad. They got nothing right. There's nothing right about this show. And
did they pay like billions of dollars for this thing too?
Billions for the rights.
Ugh.
Now, and I know they don't, and it's weird because they don't have certain rights to certain things. So like Warner Brothers, like won't let them use certain, like they can't use hobbits in Amazon. That's why they have these new characters called Harfoots. They're like an earlier version of Hobbit. Now, I don't know anything prior to, because this all takes place many, many years before Lord of the Rings. So I don't know that lore stuff. Like there are experts out there who read all the books and read all the appendices of all the books, and I don't know if Harfoots is an actual thing, or if it was made up for the show. But I know they're messing with the timeline. But it's not even that stuff. Like that stuff doesn't even really bother me too much. It's they're not getting the characters right. Like you are not going to recognize the elves as Lord of the Rings elves because they're just not they didn't get them right. They didn't, and I don't want to
They're
put
supposed to
any.
be like very stoic and matter of fact and
They're the best
like
of the best creatures in the world,
yes,
right? They're the smartest. They're the most beautiful. They're the most agile, right? They're old. They're wise because of their age, right? Because they've been around for so many years. They are the children of the god, essentially, right?
yes.
If you like, I've read very little of the Silmarillion, but like the elves were born like they're God's children, and like the other gods were jealous of the elves. Like that's how important the elves are. And I might be a little off on there, but I think I got the gist of it, you know. Um, but these like the elves in the show are like a lot of them are dumb. Like they're just like and they're like the greatest of the elves, like the elves that were responsible for making the rings of power and like fighting off the original baddie before Sauron. Like they come across as morons. And it just doesn't translate, you know. So and I want you to watch it. I want you to have your own opinions. I don't want to put too much of that into that. But let's wrap up Deadpool and Wolverine. Because we got off again on another tangent, but that's all right. Everyone's gonna get used to that. Listener will get used to that. But
I got a
overall,
question though
oh yeah, sure,
on that one.
yeah.
Blade, does he do anything for you at all?
I'd never seen Blade the movie,
Neither have I.
so and I'm not a
I got
vampire guy.
no idea.
Yeah, I'm not a
No.
vampire dude. I am, however, a big fan of Mahershala Ali. I like
Yes.
that guy. So and everything I've seen him in, I've enjoyed. So I am optimistic about a Blade movie with him in it, but I hear they are having a hell of a time making that movie.
So this just happened, and this is apparently a thing you can do. This is like a new thing. Is that like this is a new? It's a new thing. It's straight up a new thing. Because this is what happened with Rogue One.
Uh-huh.
Is when you hire a director, like to make a movie,
Yeah.
and then you let him make the movie,
Right.
and then you hate it, and then you just put his name on it, and you tell him to piss off, and then you just do other things, and
Yeah.
then he walks the red carpet still.
Yeah.
So they did this apparently with the brave new the cat, which I kind of am looking forward to because it looks like it's like a very traditional Marvel like Captain America story.
Mm.
I'm excited. I'm with the Falcon. I'm good to see him as Captain America. I'll take the ride. No, not at all.
No. Not at all.
Why?
I like him as Falcon. I think he's a good Falcon. I think he's a very good Falcon. He he's not a super powered being. How
No.
does he do the things he does? Now, I understand it's a superhero movie, right? However, just like with anything else, you're setting up a world with rules, right? There are rules within the world. It's a fantasy world, and there are fantasy rules. Steve Rogers
Yes.
is able to do the things that he does because he got a super soldier serum and therefore can do super soldier things, right? Tony Stark has a suit that allows him to do things that he can't normally do without the suit. Falcon is a dude. He doesn't have super soldier serum. He's just a guy that was a good soldier. I get it. He can fight. I understand that he has a fighting ability, but he can't take the punishment that Steve Rogers can take. He can't throw that shield like Steve Rogers can throw it. So the fact that he's going into these situations doing the things that Captain America can do is not right, in my opinion. I don't buy it.
It seems like in from again, just seeing the trailer, that is gonna be like the thing that's gonna be the thing in the movie is
Hmm.
that he's not Steve Rogers. And
Right.
I'm okay with it being like a title. I'm fine with that. It
Hmm.
doesn't really bother me because it is
I
just a
don't.
fantasy movie.
I don't care that it's Anthony Mackie. It has nothing to do with Anthony Mackie or the fact that it's not Steve Rogers. Like you can. I. I
It's
think
not a super empowered being.
it
Yes.
makes more sense for Bucky to be it. Bucky is a super soldier.
Well,
Like
that
it
guy
makes more
quit.
sense. Did he? 'Cause you know why he
Yeah, he
quit?
quit.
Yeah, because he knew
I
this thing
just
was
think
a.
he was.
He knew it sucks. He knew it sucks. That's why
He
he
could
quit.
smell the tire fire burning.
Yeah, yeah. He saw the writing on the wall.
Oh my god!
But
And they brought back Harrison Ford.
yeah, and dude, I don't like. I'm not a Hulk fan in this world. I don't like the Hulk in this world. I hate Ruffalo
When I
as the
was
Hulk.
9 years old, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, the
Hmm.
Hulk was the coolest guy
Yeah,
ever, and now he's
yeah,
the lamest guy.
right.
Like I think I might be cooler than the MCU Hulk, and I'm not very cool. Again, 23, lives with his parents.
Yeah,
Might be cooler than
no,
the Hulk.
yeah, and yeah, Ruffalo to me does not. He doesn't play Banner well, and I just don't like his Hulk. I don't like his Hulk at all. I
In
much
the
rather have.
Avengers 1, that's a good Hulk.
That's a great Hulk. You're right, because there's not a lot of
That's a great
Ruffalo in it.
Hulk.
Yeah,
No.
why? Because it's Hulk smash.
And he's
That's what.
snarling and he's gross and he
Yeah.
throws
Yes.
things. And
Because he
now he's like
stops
a guy with
being Banner.
yes.
Do you know? Like after
Yes.
that movie, he doesn't stop being Banner when he's the Hulk. He's still Banner.
They're actually two different people. That's the
I
whole
know.
thing.
That's what I'm saying. And it they turned it into we're just gonna give the Hulk a Ruffalo attitude and demeanor as the Hulk. And guess what? Ruffalo sucks. Like I don't want Ruffalo. I want the Hulk, you know?
I want a big yeah, I want like it's a monster.
Yeah, and his banner is a cuck. His banner's a little cuck. That
Yeah.
that I don't like his banner. His banner is not smart. Like the dude's a freaking brilliant scientist. He comes across like a little whimpering, you know, pea.
He's supposed to be like tortured and miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get that. I just
He's
get
like a what should be like a multi-millionaire scientist who's reduced to wearing street clothes
yeah.
because he's got anger problems.
Yeah. But then when he turns into the Hulk, he's not Banner. And
No.
for the last two movies, for Endgame and Infinity War, it was just straight up Ruffalo's Banner, which I dislike. And I
It's a
and
shame.
until you just said that, I didn't even think of it that way. Until you said Avengers 1 Hulk is because that's you can't deny that. That is a great Hulk. Some of the best scenes were
Of the
Hulk in that
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
He says, I'm always angry, and he just friggin' punches a damn spaceship. Like that's
Yeah.
the friggin' Hulk. And he's jumping from building to building, just friggin' annihilating stuff. That's what I want to see. Um, but yeah. What were we talking about?
I don't
Where
know.
were we?
We got
Yeah, I don't know
we have
either.
such a train of thought. Well,
Yeah.
full disclosure for the listeners, if there
Yeah.
are any.
For a listener, yeah.
This is kind of a little bit of a catch up for the two of us
Mm.
because we text and we call occasionally, but to have we're at over 100 minutes. This was a big touch base point for the two of us. So the
Yeah.
tangents we are still, we're catching up.
That's all
So
right. I don't mind.
if you like, I don't mind it at all. I'm having a blast, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so what do you give Deadpool Wolverine out of 5?
I think it's a 4-star movie.
I give it 3.5. I give it three and a
I
half.
mean, like, if the person that I would have to recommend this to say don't watch it would either have to be like my grandma or someone I think is totally lame. And I love my grandma, but she just
Yeah.
wouldn't find this very funny. But the person who would be like offended or wouldn't
Yeah.
enjoy the humor in this movie probably stinks. So just take that's an honest recommendation.
There were
Is that
lots of
fair?
little children there. Yes, it's fair, but there were lots of little children in my theater, like
No,
8-year-olds, like 8 and 9-year-olds. And like I'm
not
watching them
good.
come up. No, I'm watching them come up like the aisles, and I look at my wife and I'm like, this is not the right movie for them. And she's like, why?
No,
It's a superhero movie. And I'm like, just wait till you hear the things that he's gonna say in this movie.
I think in the first,
All the things.
yeah, the first scene with the TVA is like a gangbang joke. Like that's
Yeah.
not this is not good for
Yeah.
8-year-olds.
There was so much ass play jokes. Like the gay
Yes.
community got very mad. I know that. The gay community got so butthurt for lack of other words. But
You can't help yourself sometimes.
I couldn't. I just couldn't help myself. But yeah. So I give it a 3.5. It was fun. Like what other movies would you give in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Would you give a 4? Like I would give No Way Home a 4. I don't
I
think
think
this was
that's a
nearly
three
as
and a half.
No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home. Sorry. They all
Yeah,
have home in the title. I get
they
confused
do.
all the time.
Yes. Yeah. No Way
No
Home,
Way
I
Home,
think, is Doctor
that's a
Strange, right?
4.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
the
4.
Doctor. Yes. That's a
This wasn't
4.
this wasn't as good as that movie.
I think that I was just so pleasantly surprised. I almost got like blindsided because I hadn't had fun in a movie theater like that. I
Yeah.
honestly think since before the pandemic.
hmm Is this the best Deadpool movie?
No, the first one I think is probably still the best one
So
because
would you
that
give that a
one.
5?
No, I think it's also a 4. It's just a better 4. It's like a 4-1. Because I remember that was like so like it would felt like such a win for the boys. Like I'm like, wow, they actually made this thing, and
Yeah.
that was really cool. But this is like now this is like a whole, and we started talking about this earlier. This is like a whole can of worms that they've opened, and it's like very
Yeah.
exciting, but it's also very you got to be very very careful because it
Yeah.
could get out of hand and really silly really fast. Got to keep that
Yeah.
seriousness. There has to be just a
Well,
little bit of stakes.
if they have him in other movies, I don't think it's going to be in that big of a role. He's going to be there just to annoy everybody. Unless it's a
I hope
Deadpool
so.
movie.
He just made $1 billion, is the thing.
Oh, they almost made $1 billion in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But I had fun.
And as you
I have
said,
I don't
they haven't had a hit. They haven't had a hit, and now you got this guy.
yeah.
Who knows what happens? No, but yes,
But
it is a
I
good
did
time.
yeah, I did have a fun time. This is definitely for me not a rewatchable movie. Like I don't want to see this. I have no desire to see this movie again.
No,
Like I went
no,
to
no.
see um I think I saw Infinity War 3 or 4 times in the theater. I think I saw Endgame twice. I think I saw some of the Spider-Mans 3 or 4 times in the movie theater, and I don't do that often. Like it's a lot for me to watch something twice. Um, like TV shows, I don't watch any TV shows twice. I just started rewatching Game of Thrones from season 1, episode 1. Um, about
You
halfway
are a
through.
masochist. Like
Well,
that's you know what's
there's nothing
coming.
else good. There's nothing else good. I know, and dude, I'm sitting there with my wife, and I'm watching the first like 2 or 3 episodes of season 1, and I'm like, I think I'm done. I don't think I want to do this anymore. And she's like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? We don't watch anything. We know we like this." I'm like, and it like Joffrey just got introduced,
My
and
favorite.
oh my god, you're a
He's my
masochist.
favorite. He's the
And
best.
I'm like, I can't like knowing what this kid does to Sansa. I
Yes.
can't.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I want to do it. I don't think I want to do this.
Because
And
they're
she's like,
having
"Oh,
that
come
nice
on."
little like walk on the river, right?
Yeah.
And then he just
Oh,
immediately becomes the biggest prick you've ever seen in your entire life.
and he kills the butcher's kid. Yeah, I mean, oh, horrible,
He gets the butcher's
horrible.
kid killed, and then he kills the dog.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
think I can do this. I don't think I can watch Joffrey just torture people. Like I can watch Bolton torture people, but I don't want to
Yeah.
see I don't want to see Theon's downfall again. Like that is so
No.
awkward, you know.
It's
But
dark stuff. Did you watch The
gee,
Bear?
the bear. What's the bear?
No, you can't be
Yeah,
serious.
I'm serious. What's
It
the
is.
bear?
You're gonna
Is that like
love this
a
show.
really? What's it
Yeah.
on?
Well, it's on Hulu, but it's on FX.
I
But
have
Disney
Superbox. It
bought.
doesn't matter. I can watch whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's great. The
Okay, let me
first two
write that
seasons.
down.
The first two seasons, I can't recommend more.
Really?
It's
Give
excellent.
me a rundown. Give me a rundown.
Did you ever watch Shameless?
Nope.
Okay, then I won't. You probably don't know this guy then.
Hmm.
Jeremy Allen White, pretty popular guy because of the show and because of Shameless, plays Carmy. His name's Carmen Berzatto. He was a like Michelin star chef in Manhattan,
Mhm.
and his brother, who owned it's like basically like a deli,
Mhm.
it's like a hot spicy beef sandwich roast beef spot in Chicago,
Mhm.
passes away unexpectedly, and in the will he left his brother, who again Michelin star chef, the restaurant, like the deli. So
Mhm.
he's like this brilliant chef who's running this like rinky-dink sandwich shop. And there's all these good, it sounds really simple, but there's all these good characters, and it's like this. There are episodes in the first season's great. In the second season, there's a Christmas Eve episode. I almost couldn't breathe. So intense.
So me talking about Game of Thrones and a character who gets his junk cut off made you think of the bear and that I would like it's a comedy?
It's funny, but it's very intense because they're in the kitchen.
Huh.
They're always just like when they're like the it wasn't about the junk. It was about when he said that when you said there's nothing to watch. Um,
Oh,
he it- how do I say this? He hold on, I lost my train of thought.
sodomizes.
But you,
No? Is that not the word?
it's like downtime moments, like when they're like
Oh,
not in the restaurant stuff, like they
I was
can be
way
funny
off.
and jokey with one another.
Yeah.
But then like when they're in the kitchen, they're like screaming, yelling, cursing at each other, and it gets very, very serious. But
What I need to
I can't
watch
recommend more.
is Sunny the Sunny in Philadelphia. What the hell's the name of the show? Always
It's
Sunny in
always sunny in
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
That is one show I have to watch. I've only seen like 2
That is one
episodes
of
though.
the there are times I'm hanging out with friends that have watched the show, and you just say one line and you just
Yeah.
talk about it for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's like 15 seasons now. The Bear is 2, so that might be a little bit quicker.
You know what's
And
sad?
Severance. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Severance. No, what's Severance?
Oh, this is also up your alley. This is a great sci-fi TV show that's going on right now, written by Ben Stiller. Uh,
Okay.
it's about a company where they put a chip in your brain,
Yeah.
and when you come into work, you completely black out. You have no idea what you're like, and like you have like another like it like goes down an elevator, and you're
Hmm.
like working, but you have no idea who your outside person is. You're just like a
Huh.
worker,
Yeah.
and you come back up, and then like it's like the workday's over.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's very sad.
That's like my life though. Like
It's
I get
everyone's
it.
life. That's like the
It's
point.
Groundhog Day. Yes, the point. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. I don't want to watch
But
that.
it might bum you out. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they also like the computers in the company are like deeply decrypted, so they have
Yeah.
no idea what they're doing, like work wise.
Huh. They
That's
could
like a
be.
real science fiction show.
Yeah. And Ben Stiller
Again,
wrote
the
that,
bear
huh?
is just about that's on what's that?
And Ben Stiller wrote that, you said?
Ben Stiller wrote that, and it's with Christopher Walken's in it. I know you love
Oh.
CW.
Oh, that's worth a watch then if Christopher Walken's in it. I love him.
He's like, you're all in there working on a computer.
We need
It's
more of
good stuff.
your walking impression, I think, on this podcast.
I don't think anyone needs any more of that. That's the end of it
Oh,
right
that's
there.
funny. Oh, all right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for me because I'm running on fumes now. But we
We did
got
a
an
good
hour,
job,
and
I think.
I think we did a great job. And this was, if no one even watches it, we had a good time. We got to catch up on some stuff. Next episode, I think we should do some Rings of Power if we can. If you can
I'm
find, if
gonna
you can
fast
muster up
track
some
that.
time. Yeah.
I'm gonna fast track my first day off. Tomorrow will be day 10 straight. So
Hmm.
Sunday I'll have hopefully some time. Hopefully I can, unless it puts me to sleep. Is it gonna make me mad? So I'll stay awake?
Well, here's the thing. Like, there are shows that I start watching and I immediately stop watching. But I
Yes.
like Lord of the Rings so much that I was like, I have to watch it because it's a world that is like my favorite thing. Like,
Okay.
I'm assuming there will be a point where I can't watch it anymore if it continues to be this bad, because that
Yes.
happened to me with the Transformers, right? So the Transformers, Thundercats, Lord of the Rings, Voltron are my four favorite things in, you know, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, right? Those are my four favorite things. The Michael Bay Transformers movies, I cannot turn on. After like
No.
after like the second or third one, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's ruining my love for the franchise, and I
Yes.
just can't do it. Once they had the Devastator, which was the one they had Devastator in, where his junk was hanging out. Like,
I think it's I think
the
it's the
cheap
third
stupid
one.
joke, the cheap stupid jokes, like the Ebonics speaking robots, like talking
Like
to each
the
other in like,
overtly racist robots, yes,
yeah,
in the
like I'm
children's
like,
movie.
yeah, like, you're getting it wrong. Like, do it freaking right. Like, you can make a good movie. Why do you have to make it so crappy? Like, I tried watching the Beast Wars one, dude. It's almost unwatchable. It's almost unwatchable. The newest one with the
The
Beast
Bumblebee
Wars.
movie was good.
I like the Bumblebee movie. I like the Bumblebee.
The
What I
first scene
want to
of the
see,
Bumblebee movie, the first scene of
that's
the
what I
Bumblebee
want.
movie
I want the
is the
first scene.
greatest thing ever.
I want the first scene of a Bumblebee movie as a movie,
Everyone
because
does.
there's a novel called like The Rise of Cybertron or something like that. And it's that. That's what it is. It's all about the war on Cybertron. It might even be called The War on Cybertron. Do you see the new cartoon? The new Transformers cartoon?
No.
It's called like Transformers 1, I think. And it's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, with Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime for no reason.
yeah, and I think is it Idris Elba as Megatron?
I think so.
I want to say it
I got
is,
a buddy
but
from work that likes that stuff too, and he was
I
kind of ranting.
refuse to
He was
watch
not
it.
happy. He
I
was
will
not
not
happy.
watch it. I'm not going to watch it. Why do I see a like a child's face on Optimus Prime? Like, why are there like,
Bad.
ugh, it's like they made a Minions movie but put Transformer bodies on them. It's like, it's
I
so
know. I would
stupid.
watch that though. I would watch a Minions
Yeah.
Transformers. I would
Yeah.
watch. I like the Minions. I like the Minions.
And I said to myself, like, listen, it's made for kids. It's not made for me. And then I immediately think to myself, the original cartoon was made for freaking kids. Like, and I love it. Like, and it wasn't this. It wasn't this crap that they're just feeding children
No.
with stupid jokes that, like, are, I don't know. I hate everything. Bah, yelling at the clouds. Um, but yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's call it a day. Listen,
Let's go
people.
home.
Listen. Let's go home. Let's hit the bell if that's the thing. I think there's a bell somewhere down there. Wait, hold on. I got a banner.
That's notifications. Yes, the bell.
Watch this. Hold on. Oh no, no, not 5 stars. We didn't do 5 stars. Let's see. Hit the bell and subscribe. Check that. Check this out, Matt. See that? Look at that.
Nice. Well,
We
hopefully, you
are.
know what? For the thumbnail, you should put the
Yeah.
Deadpool Wolverine 5 stars, and
Yeah.
then they click on it, and there's like 15 minutes of us talking about Deadpool Wolverine. and these
Yes.
suckers will just eat it up. It'll be great.
That's right. It's a bait. We call that a bait and switch, I think. All right, people. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, hit a like button. Tell your friends about this, please. Tell your friends.
God bless.
God bless. And from the bottom of my my heart, see you next week.
Catch you on the other side.